there, welcome back to Cozy One Podcast. My name is Shan, mama of the girls. This is a podcast about parenting, talking about raising these kids and surviving these children. If this is where you need to be, welcome. All right, so let's be honest. Honesty time. Some days I want to scream, okay? All the yelling, nagging, fighting, food finishing races, jealousy, the pettiness. It's really exhausting, mentally and physically. I'm dealing with sibling rivalry. I don't know if you've ever experienced that as a kid or raising multiple kids, but it is the most annoying thing to have to deal with day in and day out. Just a constant arguing and back and forth and just needing to be louder than the next one. And just like, how did my mom do it? So that's what we're discussing today. Don't worry. As many issues as I bring up, I will bring you some solutions because we want to what? We want to survive. And we want to what? Survive with these kids while raising them. All right? Thank you for checking out Cozy One Podcast. After these messages, we'll get back to the show. Hey guys, just a reminder, there is Mama's Cozy Closet that has some merch on there for moms out there. So if you're interested in getting a cute sweatshirt, getting a cute sweatshirt, a fanny pack, or a mug, I got some goodies on there for you guys. All right, peace.
Hey, it's Anya Dula, and I am the host of Intercultured with Anya Dula. Intercultured with Anya Dula is a podcast that focuses on motherhood, culture, birth work, and travel. And it's just a place for women to come together to discuss our philosophies on motherhood, to discuss our work and birth work, if that's what we do, but mainly to bring women of all different cultures together so that we can talk about how we mother, how we #do motherhood, so that we can learn from one another and learn to love each other. That's really what it's all about. I hope you'll join us. Intercultured with Anya Dula podcast is available on all the major podcast stations. I hope you'll join us. Can't wait to connect.
Yay! People say sibling rivalry is normal, right? And I will agree to an extent. I grew up primarily with my mom after I was 8, and my mom only. She never dated. She never had any men in the house that she was seeing or talking to. It was just her and my brothers. And she definitely didn't discipline nobody. No one, okay? I believe in discipline for my kids. I won't be, they won't be in here putting their hands on each other. I won't stand for it at all. I don't even let it get there. I'm all about fairness. I'm all about, she did what did you do? As the oldest, what should you have done? I'm very about lessons and having them solve the problem, or I'm going to have to make it bad for both. That is always my go-to motto. Don't let me come over there or else both of you, not X, Y, and Z. My mom didn't believe in discipline, and that's where she lacked a lot. My mom let my brothers and I fight until the blood was dripping, okay? My daughters won't be doing that. Not at my house, not here. No way, no how. I lived in a home with constant aggression and my mom's passiveness. And my mom's passiveness always made me more angry because it was just living in the house of all kids. Because if you don't have somebody to resolve a solution, you don't have somebody to stop someone from bothering you, or at least point it out and tell them, to do something else or go in a different room. you're left to basically defend yourself. So as a result, I grew up into a woman that is always ready to defend myself. And that is horrible because sometimes when I'm defending myself, it could be at a time where I don't need to defend myself. This is not somebody attacking me. But certain things people do might feel like an attack. So I don't want to raise my daughters to feel that. So I don't even let it get there. A little bit of love and consideration was in the house at times, but for the most part, it was always aggression. Things were never talked through. Things were just done and dealt with. And I don't want to raise my kids like that. That is not what I want. I remember being 15 and I was depressed the whole year I was 15. That's my most hated age. I hated living in the house because I didn't feel protected. I hated living in the state that I was, Florida, because I didn't feel any connection to that state. I didn't see my future there at all. That's why I left and I stayed with my aunt in Atlanta when I was 16 for a summer, and I never wanted to come back. I just didn't feel like I was supposed to be there at all. I didn't feel understood at all. So ways that we can help stop sibling rivalry. It's so hard for me to say that word. Maybe it's the R's. Are, number one, don't compare your kids. Don't compare your kids to kids outside the house. Don't compare your kids to kids you're related to in family. Don't compare your kids to each other, because then they will never be on each other's side, okay? I think the second thing that's most important is we have to be fair. We can't always keep asking the oldest to do things just because they're the oldest. Sometimes you have to take the time out and teach the youngest to do it for themselves, okay? And you already asked me, does it suck being the oldest? And I said, I don't know, because I was never the oldest. I was the youngest. But I could see why you feel like it sucks, because I tell you to do certain things that your sister can't do most times. I expect more from you because you're the oldest, and I expect you to help Aria because she's the youngest. So maybe it's a lot of responsibility, but I don't think it's horrible being the oldest, okay? So that's how I'd explain it to her. But I try to be fair. I know when Anya comes to me about something that happened, Ari did something to provoke. I know sometimes Anya does things silently to provoke Ari, and then Ari comes to me and she'll tell me the whole truth. So just be fair. You know your kid's personality, and you know when they're lying, and you know when they're in the wrong. So just call them out. Number 3, don't encourage teasing. Don't get on the bandwagon of one kid to go against the other kid, because then you're both going to look like the enemy, and it's just going to be nonstop friction. Okay, so don't encourage any teasing. My brothers did that a lot. Number 4, give each kid equal time. So if I'm spending time with Ari, I want that time and that thing that I'm doing with Ari to just be for Ari. If I'm spending time with Anya, I want that thing and that time I'm spending with Anya to just be time with Anya. And it's hard to do, but I try to make a point to do it. I also try to make sure that I don't treat them the same way all the time, because I want them to feel like, oh, this is me and mommy's thing. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I make sure what I do for them, I do for them at the same time, the same way, so they don't feel slighted in anything. Okay? So that's what you have to do when I talk about equal time, equal favors. The 15th thing is to bring calmness. If your child is on 10, the other kid is on 9, you can't come in on 10. One of y'all has to be the mellow of the group. And most of the times I'm the mellow of the group, because I can't deal with the constant screaming. I can't deal with the running. I can't deal with repeating myself. Oh my goodness. I hate repeating myself. So that's what sucks when it comes to dealing with siblings going at each other's necks. The 6th thing you want to do is teach your kids how to find solutions. Teach them how to be fair, how to come to an agreement, how to put down one thing to avoid an argument and have the other person play with this for a while and then come back to it once they put it down. I'm always having to do that with the Play-Doh outside. I don't know. Is it a girl's thing or do boys do this also? The seventh thing is to teach your children how to respect each other. Like, oh my God. One thing with my brothers, I think they were already just testing to see what I would do. But it was never where we just disrespected each other just because we wanted to disrespect each other. I think it was always a testing thing. With girls, I feel like they just try to take like stab wounds, not with actual knives, but stab wounds as far as like things they say or things they take away or make it really clear that they're blatantly trying to do this thing. And I'm just like, what is that? Like, what is that stemming from? Like, what is your problem? So if you see it, if you feel like the issue is escalating, get it before it escalates, okay? I don't want my kids feeling like they could disrespect each other in the house. That means when they go outside and one of them is in trouble, they're going to feel like they don't have to do anything. I definitely don't want that. I want my girls to be a team. I want them to be able to defend each other. I want them to be able to chill together, do things together, and want to without me telling them to. That's the biggest thing for me. So if you are dealing with any sibling issues, sibling troubles, not being together on things, take away the things that they want from both of them. Okay? Give them things together. Let them experience certain experiences together so then they'll see that this is a team thing that mom does with us if we behave ourselves. This is a team thing that dad will do with us if we both behave ourselves, if we both do this correctly. And then they're sought to help each other because both of them want that common thing. So that's what you have to do when it comes to siblings. But my sanity sometimes gets tried. Sometimes I'm unsure about if I'm doing things the wrong way. But there's no real manual to every child out here in the world. And you just have to figure out what kind of children you have and what works with your kids and what works in your home. And everybody's home is different. Everybody's kid is different. But just do your best and be fair. My name is Shan. Thank you for listening to Cozy Womb. Peace. Yay!
This episode was sponsored by my friend Naomi, the Holistic Travel Nurse. Go check out her podcast. Get some inspirational stories from people who are taking care of their health and doing it naturally. If you're like me, you listen to podcasts and you want to be inspired and uplifted and helpful tips to help you grow in your health and your emotions and have an incredible mood and be inspired, you're going to get that all on the Holistic Travel Nurse podcast. In the show notes below, you can just go click the link. Thanks for checking it out.
Bye.
Bye.